Well, good morning, Sir Cam.
Yes, indeed. Good day, Sir Mitchell. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's the new year.
Yeah, I guess I'm a weird person. I don't really put a whole lot of stock in that
Yeah.
for whatever
It,
that's worth, but
it's like most holidays, it's a made up thing. So,
this is true. Time is a construct.
it's been a year since we've been in this position around the sun. So, I mean, I guess you could say that any day, but really.
Yeah, that's true, But I mean, yeah, it's New Year, but like it's also just another Saturday. So that's why we're here.
This is true too. Yep.
I'm more excited that we're back recording than I am that it's a new year. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it's been a minute, right?
Yes.
So, yeah, we didn't get together on the Christmas edition of the show just because I don't think either one of our schedules worked out real well for it. We are going to talk about predictions today, as we do. So, we'll talk about those a little bit later. And I think I have a new format for this year where we can do a little bit better job of keeping track of what we predicted and be able to score it at the end of the year and probably just give each other a lot of trouble about it. So,
well, I'm proud of you for doing that, considering how things went last year. So
yeah, it was a mess last year. So, and we'll talk a little bit about that when we get to it here in a bit. But we finally got some snow. I know you got your first snow of the year, right? This last week.
The first snow that stuck. We've had one or two dustings that the ground wasn't cold enough yet, but everything's frozen now. It is it's Siberia out there.
So when you say frozen, what temperature are you talking about?
Well, okay, I know I'm going to lose this one because you're further north, but
and it's totally fine. But
our lows have been single digits with wind chills in the negatives.
Yeah. So,
but no actual negative temperatures, just with wind chill.
I got up the other morning, and if my memory is serving, we were at 9 below, just the air temperature at 9 below.
Yeah, that'll pucker up your nostrils.
Yeah, but to put that into context, my wife's mom, my mother-in-law, lives up in the Brainerd Lakes area in Minnesota, which is a couple hours north of the Twin Cities. So it's up there, and everything is flat there too. So when it's windy, it's
gosh, yeah,
like it just everything blows. Her air temperature, not the feels like temperature or the wind chill, but her air temperature was 31 degrees below zero.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I've got and that what's funny to me is like that's still south of 95% of Canada.
Right.
And so I have a buddy that works in the pipelines in northern central Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And when he's out this time of year working on the pipeline, it's like negative 30 and negative 40 outside.
Yep.
And and he's outside working in that.
Yeah.
Like it just blows my mind.
Well, I want to say it was something, it was below zero the other day when I was out clearing snow out in the drive. And it's just, as long as you cover the skin, like it usually, if the wind doesn't get to your skin, you're usually okay. And you get a little bit of that insulation to keep you warm. And I'm putting my hands up around my face because that's usually where the gaps are. But seriously, like by the time I got done shoveling snow, I was sweating in what I had on, and it wasn't like I was cold at all. It was just like having the right amount of clothing on. So
yes, you must be prepared. Mm-hmm. Be prepared.
And I'll tell you, having remote start on my car is a dream. I got out of work the other night. I started the car about 10 minutes before I was leaving work. And because it stays on for 15 minutes and then it automatically shuts off. So I try to time it so that I've got that 5-minute gap in there to get to the car. But so I start the car, the car gets all warmed up. I walk out to the car and it is below zero. I'm not sure what it was. Up here we just call it cold. But I'm walking out to the car, and for anybody that's in a southern climate in the States here, or is in a warmer climate in general that doesn't deal with this, if you want to know what it feels like, take about a 220 grit sandpaper and rub it on your face vigorously, and that's about what cold wind feels like at that cold. It can feel like it's peeling your face off. But so I'm walking out to the car, and I get to my car, and I open up the door and I climb in, and it's just like this warm like hug I got as I walked in climbed into the vehicle, and it was just embraced by this warm. So it was very good.
Did you feel like you were Luke Skywalker being shoved into that nice warm dead tauntaun?
A little bit. Yeah. Do you know what the temperature it is inside of a tauntaun?
Why are you asking me this question? Because there's no way you can know this, because they're not real.
No, it's lukewarm.
Oh my god. So bad.
It is such a terrible joke.
Oh my god, I walked right into that one.
You did.
Just face planted right in there, man. Well played. Touche.
Well, it wouldn't be a football season if we didn't just acknowledge at least that my Green Bay Packers are taking on your former Detroit Lions tomorrow.
Yeah, have so much fun with that.
So I'm going to tell you, the Lions have a chance tomorrow, because I think the Packers are probably going to play a lot of second string players to save them for the playoffs. Give them a week off. I mean, they were already talking about that last week, that they would bench Rodgers for the game. And so,
yeah. So the frustrating thing with the Lions is a few weeks ago, out of nowhere, they beat the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense.
Yeah. They got 2 wins this year. I mean, that's exciting.
And a tie. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So 2.5 wins this year.
But they beat the Cardinals.
Which is no small feat. I mean,
that's why I'm saying it's so they have no business. Jared Goff threw 3 times. It made no sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then with our starting running back and our starting quarterback out, we dropped 29 on the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Now we gave up 51. So let's be fair here. But we scored 29 points without our starting quarterback, they are the most confounding team.
Yeah.
Because again, they will find ways to lose. So no, they're not going to beat the Packers, even though they should. If the Packers start a bunch of, second and third string guys, they should. We won't. We'll find a way to lose.
Yeah.
Because 3 wins is just, we can't have nice things, Mitch. We just can't.
Yeah. Well, the beauty of the show is that I should have it up about 5:00 tomorrow evening, so the game will already be over. So everybody that listens can know if we were right or wrong about this.
I mean, we are doing predictions, so here's mine: the Lions will lose.
Right on.
And they will find a unique and sad way to do so. Yay, rebuilds that have been going on for 10 years.
Yeah. All right. Well, I wanted to start off the show with just kind of a brief topic about just a reflection on last year. And I thought one way that it would be kind of interesting to do it is we talked about a lot of tech products last year. And what did you just do?
I
was going to try not to comment on that, but all of a sudden you went blue.
One of my favorite pieces of technology, not from last year.
Mm-hmm.
I got it in 2020. The Nanlite Pavo tubes that are full RGB and color temperature.
Yeah.
So they're video lights. I have 2 of them. They are glorious. And so I pretend like it's my lightsaber.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, no one that isn't watching me do this. Don't get your real lightsaber out.
Yeah, we don't put the video up so people don't get the pleasure of seeing this stuff on TV, but yeah.
Silly Kylo Ren one.
Yeah. Well, this is the one that works right now. My other one needs batteries. So
you throw temper tantrums like he does?
Sometimes, but I'm not as destructive.
Okay, so before we get to the reflection part,
Yeah.
I played at Oculus 2 last night for the first time.
Yeah.
Over at a friend's house, and I played Beat Saber. Are you familiar with this?
I am familiar with it. I hear that it is a stupid fun game.
It's a ton of fun, and you like the hand controls turn into essentially lightsabers, and like when you can feel like the zzz in them, and when you get them close to each other, you get the haptic feedback of like, oh my gosh, don't cross the screens. Like you feel the energy in them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's a ton of fun. So that may be happening at some point this year for me.
Yeah, I've been tempted by the Oculus stuff. But at the same time, like now that Facebook is changing the name of the device, I've heard. I can't remember exactly what it was. I want to say that they're going with the Meta branding on it, but they're changing the name. Oculus is such a good name. Why would screw that up?
I don't know.
But
anyway. So before they let me play Beat Saber, they're like, Cam, you gotta play Plank. You gotta play Plank. And I'm thinking like, why am I working on my abs? VR? This makes no sense. And so one of their sons gets it set up and throws it on my head and goes, okay, Cam. And I open my eyes and I'm standing on top of a skyscraper in a city with like a 2x10 to walk out on. And I immediately ripped it. I was like, nope, like I'm not. Like, why would you do that to me? Would there no warning? And you're just gonna have me 300 feet in the air? Like, no, Cam, put it back on. You got to jump off. Like, why would I do that? I know it's fake. Why would I see what it's like to plummet to my death? That seems like a terrible way to enjoy this technology. I took it off and I was like, Jojo, put it on Beat Saber or I'm leaving your house. Like, I'm done. I won't do this. And I looked right at my friends and I was like, now you know I have a thing with heights. You didn't know that before, so I passed because you didn't know, but I'm scared of heights. So don't ever do that to me again or we won't be friends.
And what is the biggest reason for having a scared of heights or being scared of heights? It's the scare of falling.
Well, yeah, that's what it is. And that's what that whole game is you get to experience falling to your death. And Jojo, one of their sons, was like, yeah, at the end, if it turns red, you go to hell. If it turns white, you go to heaven. And I was like, oh, is that all it takes is the video game just to determine my eternal fate? Thanks, buddy. Put it on Beat Saber. Like, what are you doing?
I bet you they had fun with that one. So,
oh yeah, they were all cracking up, especially at my like initial like, get it off my like my physical like, no, I don't want to be here.
Yeah, I've often thought that the real draw of those games is to be able to do like an in-world, like being able to go to an event or a location and do like just record being there. For people that can't do a lot of vacationing, to have something where like if I want to experience what it is like to go to say the Louvre and look at paintings and stuff like that, to be able to like control my experience going through this museum that I'm likely never going to ever go to, and just have that glimpse into what it's like to peruse one of these places. To go to the to go to anywhere really. I've always wanted to go to Scotland, but let's say go through one of the big castles in Scotland and see, just be able to walk through it. And even though it's not real and you're not really there, the video is real. It feels like you're there. I think I think that for me, that's what the Oculus would do, that I would really be down for, is just being able to have those experiences. So.
All right, sorry, I derailed us, but
I would love to go back to Galaxy's Edge virtually sometime. That would be fun.
That'd be super cool if they had like a lightsaber duel game that you could do.
Yeah. And what would be, there is a Galaxy's Edge game that you can go to a version of the Galaxy's Edge and do missions and all that kind of stuff. And it's fairly close to what the parks are like as far as its layout. But I think it just really be cool to go to the actual park, and like if I could go online and you could go online and we could go like walk through together, that would be even cooler. So it'd be fun.
Share play.
Yeah, something like that. So, all right. So what's your favorite tech purchase of 2021?
So I have to ask for your official opinion on this.
All right. You're looking for my ruling. Okay.
Yes, you're ruling. Just welcome to daytime TV with Judge Mitch.
If I had a gavel right now.
Oh,
I have a hammer behind me, but I don't
you know that your judge's gown would have a Jedi hood on it, right?
Oh,
like we could all agree on this. Okay, thank you.
Here we go. Here's my gavel.
I need show art with Mitch in a judge's Jedi. But anyways, that'd be great. Does my car count? Because I found out last night that theoretically I can start it from my phone, which I've not tried yet, but I figured out last night that I could. So does my BMW 328i count? It has Bluetooth. I can start it from my phone.
That is a
computer inside of it.
A fascinating possibility, but because I really want to hear what your other one is.
Because you want to be right. That's what it is.
Because I do have a guess. But
what do you think my other one is?
But I will allow the BMW to go through, but I'm also probably going to talk about more than one thing in the decision-making process that I had. But the BMW definitely I'll allow. But I was pretty sure that you were going to point out your iPad mini.
Oh yeah, that's the other one. 100%. But my love for my automobile is exponentially greater than it is for the iPad mini. As great as the iPad mini is. In fact, last night I used my iPad mini to discover that I could connect my phone to my car. So they are entwined, as it were. But yeah, no, the iPad mini is lovely. I use it all the time. I use it to teach. I use it to read. I use it to crush some Sudokus. Like it is, I have nothing on the home screen, just the dock. And that's it. It's clean. It's tiny. It fits in one hand. It's easy to put in a bag. I use it in multiple different cases, or not like physical cases, like use cases. It's a wonderful little machine. I love it very much, but my goodness, the pleasure I get out of driving my vehicle is like there's we have a few Starbucks in town, and I don't really go to coffee shops very much anymore because I can make everything at home now that I have an espresso machine. So I can't justify going somewhere to pay for coffee when I can do it, everything at home, hot or cold.
But when you need to pay $5 for a mediocre cup of coffee, there's a place for that.
Well, I really only get cold brew from Starbucks. I don't really get lattes or any of the foofy stuff, so it's only like $3 or $4. But when I can drive through town to get to Starbucks, or I can drive 15 minutes into the country, cross the river at a bridge north of town, and drive 15 minutes back through the country to go there. I go that route. Because the road is nice and windy, and it's like 50 miles an hour, and it's in the country, and it's right by the river, and you drive through the state park, sort of. So like it's just picturesque. I'm like, I could drive 8 minutes through town and deal with red lights and traffic and soccer moms, or I could put my car in sport mode and go enjoy the curvy roads in the country. And it's quite a great way to go get a cup of coffee, I must say.
So I have a version of that. I have two different ways to get to work. One is going out on the freeway, taking the freeway up, and then the store that I work at is just off the freeway. Or there's another country road that I can take. It takes about 10 minutes longer to go that way, and I have to go through town in the town that I work in. And so as I go through, or as I take that route, it takes me a little longer, but it is prettier, and I'm like the only guy on the road when I'm driving that way, or one of like three people that I see while driving.
Isn't that so nice?
And it's so nice. And the Jeep has really helped me to settle in and just appreciate driving again. I don't feel rushed. I think it's funny when people are passing me, especially when Jeeps pass me, is like, dude, the point of your vehicle is to enjoy the journey. It's like slow down and enjoy the journey, man. It's good. But
Do they give you the Jeep salute when they pass you?
You know what's funny is it's like we joined a cult when I bought my Jeep. It's like,
true.
Yeah, we'll just pull into somewhere, and all of a sudden we've got like fast friends who just hey, how do you like your vehicle? Oh, it's great, thanks. I found out one of the guys I work with has a Renegade as well, and so we're walking out to the car and we're like, dude, you have a Renegade? And he's like, yeah. It's like, how do you like it? Oh, I love it. I got this and that and the other thing in it. And I was like, oh, I got this trim kit, and it's just funny. We bonded over our Jeeps.
Yeah, it's like you're in the cult for sure, but like I don't think you're like a bishop or a cardinal because you don't have a Wrangler. You know what I mean? Like you're just a congregant. But if you have a Wrangler, then you're like elder clergy, They think they're better than everybody else. And it's like your car's made out of aluminum foil and your roof is made out of cloth. Why are you driving it in 0-degree weather? It makes no sense.
Yeah, that's one reason why I don't know that I would go with a Wrangler, just because I can't imagine that it's terribly practical up here.
Yeah, it's like, and like, oh, well, I can take my cars off my door, or my doors off my car. There we go. It's like, why? My doors have airbags in them. I want to keep them on at all costs.
Right. All right. Anyway, favorite tech products for me for the year, tech purchases. And quite honestly, I was going to go back and look, and I probably should go back and make sure that I bought these this year.
I had to do that. I went through like my Amazon, my B&H Photo, my Apples. Like, what actually did I get this year?
Well, I know that I bought this year. So I think I bought it this year. So I just want to double check and make sure that I did. So I've got to filter my stuff to 2021. Apply. I know that I bought it on Amazon, so gotta wait for it to load. There we go. Oh, there's one more thing in there that I should just mention, but I want to make sure that these. Oh, it's not on here. Oh no, there it is. Okay, never mind. So there were two things that I bought. I'm going to throw a third one in there just because it's kind of a tech product, but it was it's just a thing. But the biggest thing that I purchased this last year that I absolutely love and I have appreciated more and more and more as the year has gone, and I hope this surprises you a little bit, my AirPods Max. I know you think these things are terrible and they're expensive, and they're definitely on the expensive side.
They're terrible. I think they're silly,
but they are so nice. And I hear like audiophiles crack on them about, oh, well, they don't sound perfect in this way. I have not had a single issue with the way that they've sounded. I have cranked several styles of music in these things. It seems a little overkill to listen to podcasts in them, but they're so, like, when you get to spatial audio, it's just so good. I like it a lot. So this would be probably my overall pick for favorite tech product that I bought this last year. A very close second is my new Apple Watch. So I love this thing. It's so nice. And
the 7, right?
It's a 7, yeah. So it's really transformed a lot of what I've done because of the always on display. The fact is, I talked about this, I think last time we got together, is that the always on display has made it so that I turned off the raise to wake. So it's not waking up every time my wrist makes a certain movement. So now, and I'm getting like crazy battery life out of it.
Oh yeah, I would imagine. Yeah.
I can easily get about 24 hours out of it, which just like, I wouldn't have even imagined being able to get that. I'd have been happy with like 16 hours before. Just so I can get it between getting up in the morning and going to bed at night on a long day. But man, to get this kind of battery life out of this device is amazing. And the O2 sensors in it, they're the the blood oxygen. That's been good for me just because my asthma came back through all this COVID stuff. So just being able to monitor like how things are going overnight, and when I'm working at work, am I dropping as I'm working harder and stuff like that. And it's just been really nice to be able to monitor those things and make sure that like there aren't consistent issues. And I found that for the most part, like if there is anything that I need to be paying some attention to is maybe some sleep apnea. So, which if I lost some weight, I probably would be doing okay with that. But the one thing I did want to just kind of throw in here, because I'd forgotten that there was a purchase this last year. I talked about the Go Cube, that Rubik's Cube, that connected Rubik's Cube I bought this last year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Dude, that thing is cool. Like, it just, I can't tell you how many times I just leave it in my bag now, because there's so often when I'm, sitting somewhere like, maybe we've got some downtime at the church in between stuff, or we did a prophecy conference this last year that required minimal amount of administration on my part. So I literally would sit there and like solve the Rubik's Cube. I think I solved it like 5 or 6 times that day, just because I didn't really have anything to keep my mind busy, and I listen better if I have something else going on. Otherwise, I lose my attention is gone if I have one thing to pay attention to. It's just the way I work. So to have that to just kind of fiddle with while I'm listening to something or whatever, it was just cool. It was very useful to me. So yeah, I go with the AirPods Max overall for my favorite purchases this year. But also keep in mind, I didn't have any major like computer or iPad purchases last year either. So everything that I've got here it was before 2021. So most of what I bought this last year has been wearables. So
there you go.
Cool. By the way, I have an AirTag coming.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. What's funny is I have my keychain here, and I already updated the keychain, but there's a hole. There's a hole for my AirTag because it's been taking my AirTag a while to get here. So, but yeah, I switched off of the KeySmart keychain that I was using that had the tile built into it. Partially because I don't keep it charged, and the other part is because of tile getting bought by Life 360. Like, I'm not really interested in giving them any more data. So all right, cool. Well, I think we're ready for predictions.
Oh boy.
All right, well, so just to kind of give the listeners an idea of how we're doing this, I split this up into technically 3 categories, with a 4th category that we're going to talk about later. That is going to be, I don't know that I was kind of on the fence as to whether or not to score this category. Just because of the spirit of the category. So, but I have this split up as like mobile devices. So iPhone, iPad, iOS, iPad OS, what kind of predictions we have in that space. What I didn't want to do is like come up with like, hey, here's 10 predictions for just this one space. So we're going to break that into 3 predictions for that. 3 predictions for computers. So Macs, like your iMac, MacBooks, Mac Pro, those sorts of things. So 3 predictions for that. 3 predictions for wearables for this year. I mentioned that I wasn't sure what we wanted to do for AR or VR. Do we want to put that into the wearbles category, or do we want to break that out?
Yeah, okay. I did.
So
go on your face. So.
And I have not looked at yours yet. I'm still filling mine in because I didn't realize we were going to fill in the bracket beforehand. But
oh well, there's no way I would have remembered mine had I not written them down.
Okay, so I was just going to go off the cuff because I'm a bad podcaster, I guess. I don't know. I still don't have all my iPhone ones filled in yet here, but I did have a couple of things that I was looking for this year. But I'm going to think about the wearables category and add a AR VR thing in there. Maybe we'll see. But the fourth category that I put in there is what I'm just calling our moonshot. If if we could have one thing announced this year that we would want to see, what would that be? Now, it wouldn't doesn't have to be realistic necessarily. That's why I kind of wanted to keep it from being scored, because this isn't something that I think is going to happen this year, but it's something that we would just love to see happen this year. That is just kind of a moonshot. It's kind of wish casting in a sense. So, make sense?
Yes. Do we have a name for our predictions?
Well, last year we had a really long name. I think it was something along the lines of the non-scored, what was it? Non-scored, non-competitive annual prediction show that is totally scored and totally competitive. But I think we'll bypass the long title and let's just call it our annual predictions. I don't think we need anything. Maybe organically we'll come up with a name.
The Predicties.
Well, the Annies are already taken. I don't know if you've listened to the Connected from this last week yet.
Not yet. Yeah. We could call them the Pickies.
The Pickies. I think that's taken too.
All right, Predicties it is.
The Predicties.
Until we come up with a better name.
Oh, that's terrible. I'm just going to put that on the show document here because I'm never going to remember that. Predicties. All right, so let's go ahead and get the predictees started. Do you want to lead off the mobile, the iPhone, iPad, iOS, and iPad OS section? And I'm going to open up the doc here so I can see your predictions.
Surely. All right, my first prediction is that this year Apple will announce an iPhone Pro Mini. So they'll have the Max, the regular, and the Mini all Pro this year. My prediction.
I'm sorry. What?
So right now you can get an iPhone
the
13
iPhone
Pro or iPhone 13 Pro Max. This year you'll be able to get an iPhone 14, an iPhone 14, or sorry, an 14 Pro, 14 Pro Max, or a 14 Pro Mini, a smaller version
of the Pro.
But with the Pro, so the good camera system, all of the things that make it a Pro, just in a mini format.
All right. So basically you're saying that we're going to have a mini Pro.
Yes.
Or a Pro Mini.
Yes.
Okay. I'm thinking iPhone Mini Pro is going to be the name. This is going to be a terrible name for it. But,
well,
or
if they do Mini Pro and Pro Max, I'm gonna insist that everyone at Apple get fired who names stuff.
Pro Mini. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because I mean, their naming's already bonkers. And if they would do that, I would what is life? Why are we even here? Let's just end it all.
So I went the way of talking starting with the prediction for iOS and iPad OS is that there's going to be more widget integration or more widget interaction. So we'll be able to do a little bit more with the widgets instead of it basically opening up the app to to allow us to, like, if it's a music thing, we tap the play button, but the play button was really just a link that sends you into the app to start the audio. So
I really like that pick because this would be the third version of iOS with the new widgets. And so it feels like absolutely the right time for there to be some growth in the newer widget style. So I'm actually, one, I really like the pick, and two, I'm kind of mad I didn't do that.
Well, this is the first thing I thought of when it came to iOS, because to me, iOS, it seems like they introduce something. The next year they don't really have much of an iteration on it, but then your third year with that product, there seems to be a little bit more like iteration on that concept. So so more widget interaction.
All right, my next prediction is that the next version of iOS will include more feature-rich shortcut actions for Apple's apps like Notes and Reminders and Calendar, like the default apps. Because right now, Apple is not doing a great job of showing developers, great uses of shortcuts actions. Even though Apple is 1,000,000% behind shortcuts, they moved to the Mac, even though that's a whole nother thing. But like the shortcuts actions that are provided for reminders and notes and photos are just abysmal compared to what they could be. And so I think my prediction is that Apple will finally step up to the plate and provide many more shortcut actions for their default apps.
So if there's and I'm gonna like totally let this go, but if there's a problem that I have with this is it's a little bit vague, to say more feature rich. But what I'll do that I'm not gonna like, they would not allow unconnected. I'm gonna let you score that one when we come around to scoring it. If you feel like they met the spirit of this prediction, I'm good with that. So
how about I just say more shortcut actions?
you could simplify it down, but
there we go. I'm gonna be mad at myself later, but in the spirit of sportsmanship, I will say they will include more shortcut actions for their apps.
I mean, and ultimately you're going to know if what they did this year satisfied that. I know that when you talk about like it, and I think, when Connected does their stuff, they will argue the letter of the of the pick. I'm fine to just say, well, there's a spirit behind this pick. As long as it satisfies the spirit of the pick, I can be okay with it. So
you are as gracious as you are bearded, Mitch.
It's getting there. I'm getting to the point now. I'm thinking about trimming it down, but anyway, it's not warming up yet, so I keep the beard. All right, I'm going to say that.
Yes, read this one. This is so good.
There's a new method for.
Oh, sorry, I read the third one. Sorry.
Okay,
never mind.
There's a new method for customizing the home screen. So, I'm leaving this open a little bit because I'm not sure how this is going to work. But I was really intrigued by this idea that Federico had about there being an app that would actually would provide like system wallpapers and icon customization, and that they were going to add like an app store for custom icons, and you'd be able to buy wallpapers and different things like that would make the whole idea of customizing the iPhone home screen more fluid and give a lot more options for that. So I don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but I think they're going to do something to push that whole customization forward. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's one of those we'll know if we see it, but
yeah, he's been wanting this for a while. So, yeah. And for the record, my belly laugh earlier is for your next pick. Just the way that you wrote it is so good. It's perfect. Because it's 100% going to be true.
Yeah. So go ahead and hit your next pick there.
All right. Since they launched the iPad Pro with the M1 chip in it last year, it only makes sense to me that the next rev of the iPad Pro this year would include M1 Pro and M1 Max chipsets. So that is my prediction, that this year the 2022 iPad Pros will come with the options to have the M1 Pro or the M1 Max in them.
I don't think that's going to happen. I'm just going to tell you.
We shall see.
But we'll see. Yep. So I have a prediction down the list here about chips that we'll refer to this when we get down there. So, all right, my next pick, the one that got the belly laugh, was the iPhone will come in orange, but maybe not called orange.
And that's the part that got me, because 100% it will not just be called orange. It'll be called like faded red or some, you know.
Burnt umber.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But it will be orange. So, and I would lean towards it being in the Pro line. It'll be one of the like ocean blue or the midnight green, but it'll be an orange, a version of orange. I think the pick holds if it's a brighter orange in the regular line and just the iPhone 14, but we're going to see an orange iPhone this year. It's been too long. That, and this is not an upgrade year for me, so they're going to stick it to me and give me through the orange phone on a non-upgrade year.
There it is.
So, all right. Well, I'm gonna flip the script here, and I'm gonna start the Mac predictions, just to be fair. And I'll let you lead the wearables. But I think the Mac Pro is going to get introduced this year, and I noticed that you had that in there as well, which we didn't talk about.
Mine is worded differently on purpose.
Yeah. So I think we're going to see the new Mac Pro introduced this year. I'm on the fence about whether or not it's going to be shipped this year. You know what? Just to further differentiate it from yours, I'm going to say it's going to be shipped this year. So I think the timing on this is going to be, right for that, because I have a feeling we'll see that at Dub. So, this 2022, that's terrible. Should learn English better. Be shipped in 2022. All right, that's better. All right, any thoughts?
Well, I'm gonna change my order to match yours here. I say the new Mac Pro will be mentioned. Not necessarily shown, certainly not shipped. It will be mentioned.
So I'm taking the risk here.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
We both get the point.
If you're right, I'm right. If I'm right, you're not necessarily right.
Right. So I'm taking all the risk on this one.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's why I said mine was worded differently on purpose. Mm-hmm. Like, it will be mentioned.
Well, I'm good with taking some risk here.
All right.
We are going to see the new iMac this year, the bigger iMac. I'm going to say just based on rumors, I think it'll stay at a 27-inch. So I'm going to I put 30-inch in here as well, but I think I'm going to take that out of there. And I'm going to add something to this. It will be called the iMac Pro. So new 27-inch iMac will be iMac Pro.
Okay.
Up the risk factor on that just a little bit.
I say that we will see a new iMac, and it will have the M1 Pro and M1 Max chipset as options.
Okay.
I'm not going to
pick size call it or name. Size or okay.
I'm going to go with the internals. The new version of the iMacs this year will have the Pro or the Max chipset as options.
Changing my next pick. I think the MacBook's going to come back this year.
Not the Air, not the Pro, just the.
It makes way more sense to me that they take the Air and either eliminate it or make it.
Don't say that.
Or make it a step up, but basically they just drop the Air off. It doesn't change the device that they're going to come out with, but with the rumors of them being multiple colors and everything like that, I think it makes sense that they go back to the standard MacBook, because there is no MacBook in the line. It's a MacBook Air, MacBook Pro. I think they can just go back to just the good old fashioned MacBook, and I think the naming is what this pick is about. It's not so much that they're coming out with a separate device, but that there's going to be a device named MacBook.
Interesting. I love my MacBook Air. I love the one I had before this one. Great little computers. My last pick in the Mac category is that Universal Control will finally actually ship.
Well, I think that has a chance of happening sometime between now and December 31st.
I'm a little concerned, honestly, that it's going to go the way of Air Power and just never ship. Because they announced it at WWDC, and it's been 6.5 months, and it still hadn't shipped. So we'll see. That is my Mac OS pick here, is that Universal Control will finally ship. Not that I really want it or see the use case for it, but I had to have 3 picks, so that's that's what I came up with.
I would like it just for the sake of having it, because I think that there's going to be an occasional use case for it, but
we shall see. I don't know.
But
it feels like share play to me. Like, okay, cool technology trick, but not for me.
Yeah, I think that's the issue with it, is that it's an occasional thing. You know, how many people have like 2 computers next to each other on their desks? You know, and there's people that do. I totally expect that, but it does kind of allow for you to not use Sidecar with an iPad, but be able to just move the cursor over. Yeah, I've used it a couple times just to try it, but to have that that device off to the side and just be able to move the cursor over there and, you know, click stuff around and then move back might be a nice convenience for some people. So I don't know. I'm not sure if it's one of those things that I really necessarily want or need, but all right. Let's get into wearables, and I'm going to let you lead wearables. So
all right. AR glasses announced but don't ship in 2022.
But don't ship in 2022. Okay.
Yes, they are. So they are announced.
All right. So I want to help you out with this one, because AR glasses,
goggles,
are you talking about
things that go on your face,
like VR or AR or a mixed reality headset?
So AR, augmented reality, is mixed reality. Like, I specifically chose AR and not VR because I don't think Apple's going to do VR. I think they're going to do AR because of all the stuff they did with the iPad and augmented reality stuff there with, you know, the metal chip and all that sort of stuff. So if they ship VR glasses or goggles, I'm wrong.
Yeah. If they announce VR,
I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
It has to be augmented or mixed reality.
Okay.
For me to be right.
I might put mixed reality in there just so that we don't argue about this. And
they're the same thing. They mean the exact same thing.
Well, so if I have a pair of glasses that can do something, you know, to put an overlay on there, is that augmented reality?
Yeah, because you're changing what you can only see that. It's augmenting what's real. It's changing it.
Correct. But it can't opaque in front of my eyes and I can play a game on it.
Right.
I always see through it.
Yes.
So my understanding of mixed reality is that you have a headset that you cannot see through, but has cameras on the outside so that you can, if you want to, see what's going on outside your glasses.
All right, fine. I'll change it.
I'm just trying to make sure that you don't end up that we're specific about this.
All right, there we go. Change has been made.
All right.
I'm mad about it now, but I'll probably be really happy about it.
You'll be like, man, I'm so glad. Because I don't think they're going to do like glasses. I think they're going to do some kind of headset that you're not going to be able to see out of without cameras on it.
All right, then I'm going to change glasses to headset just so we don't have to deal with that. Look at me.
Yep. I think the rumor with the glasses was always that they were shooting for 2023 or 2024 for like glasses that we could wear on our face that we could see stuff, you know, that would have like an overlay on them. So, which it's going to be really hard not to like snap a pair of those up right away. I've been wanting that for a very long time. So, and the concept of having a car windshield that has an overlay. Imagine getting rid of all the dials on your dashboard and it all going up onto the windshield. That could be really cool. I think it would be really cool. Also,
your speedometer brought to you by Frito-Lay.
No. But I think what would be cool is somebody posited, and it might have even been on Connected, about the concept of having, I think it was on Mac Break Week of this last week. They were talking about the concept of having a windshield that had the overlay on it, so you could see, like, if you had directions, there was an arrow in front of you showing you where you needed to go, showing you the turn. Like, it was much more specific. But if you drove at night, it would overlay like an infrared image or something like that, so you could see more of your surroundings than what your headlights were allowing you to see. So you could see, like, if there's a deer outside of your view, outside of the headlights, that you could see that down the road further, and it could pull up a warning signal to let you know that there was something in the road. I think that something like that would be really cool.
Walking venison to your right.
So anyway, I'm going to say there's the new Apple Watch this year is not going to be a redesign. There's been some rumors about the squared off corners just not making it this last year, that they might want to do that this year. I think that it's totally against Apple's like typical rhythm to do even just a slight redesign one year and then a big redesign the next year. I think they'll flow with this current design at least through this next year. So no watch redesign.
Interesting, because I think the new watch will be thinner. So the 8 will be thinner than the 7.
So if it looks identical but it's a little thinner, that's still don't think that's a redesign.
Oh, that's fine. You can. We might have to save that debate for when we score these.
All right, sounds good. All right, your next pick, sir.
My next pick was thinner Apple Watch. I changed the order.
Oh, you changed the order. Okay,
so that I can match your pick. Yes.
All right.
Thinner Apple Watch. And we'll save the fight about whether or not that's a redesign for later.
The new AirPods Pro will release this year and will have some kind of lossless audio support.
And so you're just talking about these AirPods Pro, right? The little white earbuds.
Yeah, I mean, there may be a redesign to them or something like that, but the product that is called the AirPods Pro will have some kind of lossless audio support. Not sure what that's going to look like yet. There's some debate as to what Apple has built into their phones right now that they could use, because Bluetooth won't support it. But there's some talk about near field communication, possibly, or not near field, wideband, the wideband chip being able to support sending data that's at a higher bit rate than Bluetooth can. So it might be some either pairing of the two or totally moving to the wideband chip to support lossless audio. So at least they're going to claim lossless audio for the device. Whether or not the techies are going to argue about it, or
of course they will.
Whatever,
because
audio
files,
audio.
Yeah, audio files always have to be right, and the companies always have to be wrong. That's just part of being in that cult.
All right.
So my third one I had to get rid of because it already exists. So I have to come up with a wearable prediction on the spot.
You said the Beats released a product that's comparable to the AirPods.
It already exists.
Yeah, it does.
I didn't know that because I don't pay attention to Beats. I was like, I have to have 3. So it's Beats. Sure. I haven't heard anything from them in 5 years. Turns out I just haven't been paying attention. Oh gosh. I don't know. I made an Apple Watch prediction. I made a headset prediction.
I know what you should say just to needle me, but
no AirPods Max update. Fine. One of us will be right.
Or better yet, they cancel the AirPods Max.
Yeah, I'll say no AirPods Max update. There we go. One of us will get a point. One of us won't.
So that makes my last pick an AirPods Max update. So I don't know if they'll call it an AirPods Max 2 or there'll be some kind of update to the
new
over-the-ear headphones.
AirPods Max Pro Max.
They're not going to call it that. It's just going to be the AirPods Max 2nd generation or something like that.
V2. All right. So those are our predictions. 9 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't end on 9 because it's not an even number.
Yep. So I'm going to throw this out there. Do you want to score the moonshot?
I think the moonshot should be worth double the points.
So you want 2 points for moonshot?
I think we should have 2 points.
Okay. Let me go ahead and are you going to put that in there?
Yep.
The problem is I didn't want it to become like a oh, I've got to figure something out that they're going to do this year. I really wanted.
I know, but that's the thing is it's not. You get the extra point because what you wanted they didn't think they would do. They actually did.
Mm-hmm.
So like the spirit of the pick should be they're probably not going to do this, but this is really what I want. And then if you get it, you're like, oh, I got it, and I get an extra point, and that's probably going to be what determines the winner.
Yeah. Oh man. Now I got to come up with it. I feel like there's added pressure now because there's points involved.
Well, for what it's worth, I'm not changing my moonshot now that there are points involved.
Yep.
Because I have said this multiple times on this show, and I will keep wishing for it until it happens. And my moonshot is if they ship an iPad with an M1 Pro or Max, they better also ship Logic or Final Cut for iOS. Please do it. The fact that you haven't yet is annoying. So that's my moonshot. And if I get it, I will take those 2 points and dance a little jig.
All right. I think I got one that is out there, but not totally out there. What I want to say is say something about the glasses, but I know that those aren't rumored to come for another couple of years. So I can't say that. So the new iMacs. Oops, let me try this again. New iMacs. All right. So what I'm putting in here is the new iMacs, and I'm thinking mainly like the 27-inch iMac Pro will come in a variety of colors. Now, here's my thought behind this. The iMac came out with the rainbow of colors. The MacBook or MacBook Air is rumored to come out with the variety of colors that they're going to come out with. What I want to see personally, because us, I'm not going to group myself in as a pro, but pros it's not like they don't like color, even though they always give them like silver and space gray, yeah. I think that there's going to be some color in the line. Now, I'm going to probably regret this, but this does not include black. So if they come out with silver and space gray and then a black, or silver and a black or something like that, that's not a variety of colors. When I say colors, I mean reds, oranges, yellows, and I think they could do it in a way that would be really cool. That, let's say the iMac, the current iMac comes with this really bright orange, for instance. How about the iMac Pros come in a more burnt metallic orange that just has a deeper, darker look to it, and it looks more like I'm the iMac Pro, kind of like the difference between the silver and the space gray. To me, they could do something like this that would just be way cool, and I think pros would enjoy. So that's my spirit behind my moonshot. Is I really want to see more colors available for the pro models of Macs.
Interesting.
because I don't think they're going to actually do this.
Yes, that's kind of my thought on this. Is like,
but I really wanted this because this would show that the company doesn't think pros are like emotionless drones somewhere that only like silver and space gray. And I think that they would sell a lot of computers if they could get colors in that line. So
we'll see.
All right.
It's going to be really funny when they announce the new 27-inch iMac with colors and it's not labeled Pro. You're going to be so mad.
No, I didn't put Pro in the moonshot. I just said the new.
I can't see the moonshot because you're still editing it.
Oh, sorry.
But in your description, you said Pro about 75 times.
Yeah, but I'm leaving it open. I'm saying
Then that's not a moonshot. No, yeah. New iMacs will come. They already come in colors. Of course, the new ones will. It has to say Pro. It has to say Pro. Otherwise, I will not allow it.
Let's put this qualifier on it, because I'm not certain about
new MacBooks will come in silver. That's my moonshot.
What is this? New large format.
No.
All right, so new 27-inch iMacs will all come in a variety of colors.
Bush League. That is Bush League.
Will come in a variety of colors.
I will not stand for this.
Well, I'm putting it on the line to say they're going to Mac Pro and in a pick up above.
So
this
is a moon. It is worth 2 points, Mitch.
So these would be twice as risky, is what you're saying.
You're saying that they're going to take what they've already done to the current iMacs and do it to the bigger ones. There's nothing risky about that.
I was going to start calling it the iPad, and now I'm just going back to iPad.
Let the pettiness begin.
New iMacs Pro will come in a variety of colors.
There. Case closed.
All right. I get that wrong, but just because the Pro name didn't show up, I'm going to be so mad at you.
Well, it's a moonshot, dude. The whole point is that it has to be not likely. That's why you get the extra point.
All right, fine. All right. Well, what's delighting you today, Cam?
The fact that I got you to put Pro in that. Honestly, though, like 6 weeks ago, this coming Monday, we found out that our company was shutting down the entire innovation office, which was the office that I was in. And the chief innovation officer of our company called an all hands in 15 minutes, all hands meeting, mandatory. I'm like, oh, that's never good. He's like, all right, here's the deal. The company is shutting down the innovation office. Today's my last day. A lot of you are about to get laid off. Some of you will be kept and moved to other positions within the company. If you're getting laid off, Friday's your last day. Also, I know it was just Thanksgiving, but Merry Christmas. And so a lot of people got laid off. I did not, which was a blessing. But for the last 6 weeks of work, I've really just been waiting. Like I've had work to do, but not a lot. Where I've been waiting for where they were going to move me in the company, what my new job was going to be. I had a couple interviews and that sort of stuff. And finally, yesterday, I finally got the offer for what they're moving me to and all of that. So it's just been a lot of waiting. And they initially thought that they were going to lay off like however many people and reassign the rest of us within like a week or two, which I thought was hysterically wrong. I'm like, how are you going to do all of that? Like, this is a giant corporation,
right?
We move at the speed of molasses. Like this is, it was like laughably naive to think that they could pull that off. So lo and behold, we go through the entire month of December. And finally, yesterday, I received my offer for my new position in the new
different organization within the company. So I feel relieved and continually blessed, and I'm just happy to know that this team wants me, sees my value, sees the potential I have to bring to this new team in this new area. So I am Monday should be fun because it's just dive right in the deep end and meet a bunch of new people and figure out all their processes and projects, and so lots of learning will be had in the next couple of weeks, but that excites me, the new challenge. So
very cool. Yeah, we just went through, I don't know if I've talked about this on the show, but our company is going through a complete restructuring at the store level.
Oh no, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So they are cutting down the number of supervisors that are in the stores, and adding a couple of key positions around that to kind of try to streamline the management in the stores. But in the process, my position was eliminated. So I interviewed for the other positions and was offered one. But in the process, I decided to step down. So I'm demoting as of the 17th and without a pay cut. So I'm taking my supervisor pay to a position where I don't have the responsibilities and the inane, stupid crap that we have to do every week that we don't like doing and all that kind of stuff. I can just come into work, do my job, and go home. And I'm really looking forward to that. So that is not what I'm picking for what's delighting me today, but that is something that's delighting me. So, so Christmas was good. Christmas ended up being the Christmas of coffee this year. Not that I got coffee, but that I got a bunch of implements to do coffee or to around my coffee experience. Mm-hmm. So I had a pour over coffee pot on my Christmas list, and my sister bought me that for Christmas. And then on after we got back, my mom always gives us some cash for Christmas, and I got cash from my mother-in-law, and I had some gift cards and stuff like that. So I went on Amazon and bought a gooseneck water kettle to use.
Great choice.
And I'm super happy with that. I really wanted to get the Fellows version, but to me it's way overpriced.
Yeah, it's expensive.
It was like $189 for the Fellow version, and I'm not sure how to pronounce the name, but it looks like Plovier or Plovier, depending on if it's French or not. But it's yeah. So, but I bought that version because it had a lot of good reviews on it. It was $109, so I saved myself $80.
And it's one that you plug in and it heats it. You don't have to deal with the stove, right?
Right, and it also will heat it to the exact temperature you want it as well, and hold it there for up to 2.5 hours.
Oh wow!
So I can what I was doing before with the French press was that I had a pot. I had a regular like cheap water kettle that I would boil my water in, and I would boil the water. And then as it was coming down off the boil, I would wait until I didn't feel the boil anymore, because I'd done a little bit of research to see like at what point it kind of hit the temperature that I needed it at. Mm-hmm. And then I would start pouring it into the French press, kind of giving it a little bit of swirl to get it mixed in and stuff. And but that one, it was always kind of like, I'm not really sure. And then I had to stand there and wait for it to hit the boil so that I could pull it off and let it cool to the right, and there was a lot of
you got to do like some hand holding to get good coffee. Yeah,
there's a lot of hand holding that I had to do with this to get exactly what I wanted out of it. So now this coffee pot will warm up the water to 205 degrees and just hold it there until I'm ready, and then I'll come down from getting dressed or whatever and grab my pot and pour over my coffee and drink, and it's good. I've been enjoying this a lot. So I think that's what's delighting me the most right now. And as part of that, I decided every year Death Wish Coffee comes out with a new coffee mug. And last year I didn't care for their coffee mug too much, but I really like their coffee mug this year. It's what they call the urn, and it has that kind of style to it.
Yeah, it's got the right
and
shape.
then it's got like kind of the blood red color on the top, like it's kind of oozing down, and it's kind of a blue, kind of a bluish black on the bottom of it. And it's just a cool looking mug. So I was about after shipping and everything, it was about $40 for the mug, and it was good. I like it. So I have the 2020 version of the Death Wish mug. That's what they call the coffin. Which, if you've ever seen me drinking coffee on the show, that's usually what I'm drinking out of. So this is my new everyday mug. So super happy with it.
Nice. I have a quick story about my pour over.
Yeah.
May it rest in peace. What sort of, first of all, what sort of pour over device did you get? Was it like a Chemex style one or just one that sits on top of your mug, like the Hario V60s?
Well, I don't know what a Chemex style one is.
The big glass. It's got a bowl.
It's the glass.
Spout.
It's the glass like the sphere with the
so the Chemex style one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had one. It wasn't a Chemex branded one. It was oh gosh.
I have a Bodum.
Yeah, mine was a Bodum. There we go. Thank you. I couldn't think of the name. And when I got my espresso machine, I put that on my kitchen table next to my fridge, and I moved my pour over on top of my fridge to get it out of the way. And it was up there, and apparently the top of my fridge is slightly sloped, which I know now. I did not know then. And I was actually getting ice out of the fridge to put in my pint glass so I could have some cold brew. And when I shut the freezer, it was enough force to start the pour over sliding slightly, and it fell from the top of my fridge, which is like 6 feet tall, to my kitchen floor, bounced off the ground like a good 2 or 3 feet up, didn't break, and then when it came down the second time, shattered everywhere.
Yeah.
And it was like boom, it's like and I remember like I see it coming, I was like, no, and then it hit the ground and I was like, what? And then just shattered, like everything came back to normal speed.
You know what would have been hilarious if you would have just reached out and caught it on the bounce.
That would have been amazing. But I was like, I was so stunned because like I was just like, it's done. And then it bounced and I was like, well, I don't know what's like, am I in the Matrix? What's going on? So I don't have a pour over right now.
Well, $20 on Amazon, man. I can send you.
Yeah, no, it'll be remedied in the next, coming I don't know, weeks, because I don't really do pour overs a whole lot, so I might take my time and decide.
So, I think I've mentioned this on the show before. We have a Keurig that I use for my everyday coffee. So Monday through Friday, that's how we make our coffee. We just throw it in the Keurig and make it a cup at a time. No big deal. On the weekends, I get fiddly with my coffee, because I actually use different beans on the weekends than I use during the week. We use a cheaper coffee during the week just because I just need to wake up and leave. It's not like cheap coffee. We're not drinking Maxwell House or anything, but it is a Sumatra, but it's not
Folgers, man.
It's not like a real, don't, yeah. Not even
Green Mountain, baby.
I won't even drink the good Folgers. Wait, is that a thing?
Green, good
Folgers. But it is a Sumatra. We get it at Aldi. It's not, it's not a super high end thing, but it is a fair trade Sumatra. But I've been getting a coffee from Costco lately from Door County in Wisconsin here. That it's called Death's Door. Now, I feel like the name is kind of oversells
in your morbid coffee stuff.
I don't know. It's just a thing. But I like dark coffee, and they tend to have to put a scary name on it to make it sound cool. Well,
no, just get French roast or Italian roast.
Yeah. But it's what this is it's a blend of like Sumatra and Costa Rican and I think Colombian. I'm not sure, but it's basically a blend that helps to kind of balance out the extreme flavors of all the different ones, and it's a really good coffee. And so I've been buying that lately from Costco, and that's my weekend coffee. So
So the reason and I'm going to ask a question to you after this little interlude here. The reason I'm not even sure I want to get another pour over is because I do enjoy darker coffees, and pour overs tend to bring out more of the bright, acidic, citrusy flavors, and so it can. Whereas French press is great with darker coffees because it lends itself more towards those characteristics. And so I'm curious if you found with your pour over that the darker roast coffees taste considerably different when you do the pour over versus when you do them in the French press.
A little.
That's been my experience.
Yeah. The Sumatra that we've had, I've experimented with in the pour over, and that comes out like really dark. Like it comes out really almost a little bitter. Little more so than if I and that stuff's a finer grind than what I would put on it. It's a drip grind. But the grind that I use about a medium grind for the Death's Door stuff that I make. And that stuff comes out, I would say, yeah, it's just a slightly punchier, but it still has some of the qualities of the dark roast. But this coffee is kind of weird to gauge that against. But because quite honestly,
blends are always different, right?
Yeah,
that's for sure. Because like my experience working at the coffee shop, we had one blend and then everything else was single origin. And the blend was good no matter what we did to it.
Yeah.
It was called Bravissimo blend and it was amazing. But like the single origin stuff, like if we did the Italian roast as a pour over, it tasted like hot garbage. We did it as a French press and it was like nectar of the gods, you know. But then like you do like the Central or South American beans as a pour over, and it's like, yes, this is exactly what this bean was intended for. Like it brings out all of the brighter, you know. And that's not my style of coffee, but it is for a lot of people. And that's why pour overs have become so popular at coffee shops, is because a lot of people like that style of, you know, that style of bean. But I think,
and honestly, that's usually not my jam either.
Yeah, no, it's not. And that's why I'm like, I don't even know if I want to get a pour over because I used it like maybe 3 times this year. It just sat there and looked pretty. So I'm like, is it even worth the $20? But then I'm like, but if I have a friends over, that's an incredibly fast way to make 3 or 4 cups of coffee for them, you know? And so it's like, you know, what's $20?
I've been enjoying this coffee out of the pour over. I should try with the new kettle what it tastes like coming out of the French press, but we'll see.
I love French presses; they are glorious.
Yeah, it's just
you get all the oils that you don't get when you use a paper filter. It's wonderful.
Yeah,
and it's super easy.
It is
plunk, dip, boom, dip it right. Clean up's a cinch. Like it's a wonderful little machine.
So I have an aluminum cast French press.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I like it. I really like it, but I'm missing one thing. I always loved enjoying as you're plunging it down, watching it change color. Because it looks a little lighter until you start plunging it. And then all of a sudden it gets really dark as it's going through the grounds. So
does the aluminum one insulate it pretty well?
For the most part, with the pour over or the French press, I don't leave them in the pots because they get cold too quickly. I don't go through it fast enough. So,
well, especially if it's glass. I was just curious if like the aluminum one was like, you know, double insulated or whatever.
I throw it right in my oh shoot, what's the company that makes these? Hastings Collective. I throw it right in here and keep it warm. So you can see all my stickers on here. Got a Death Wish coffee.
And this has
sticker.
been Coffee Chat.
Yep.
Snaps.
All right.
With the cool cats. Yeah, man.
So since we're talking about coffee, I'll share this story too. So, and it actually goes back to when we were talking about the remote start earlier. I joked last year, I think, when we first got this car, that getting into it was like, oh, the only thing that's missing is the cup of coffee, because I got the jazz on the radio, the warm hug of the warm car coming out of the cold. And so recently I started taking a little thing of coffee with me. that I drink on the drive home from work. so it's like now I have it complete. I have the jazz on the radio, I've got the warm, and I've got the coffee, and it's good. So I baby myself. And apparently I poured coffee all over my phone. It was sitting on the desk.
Better that than the computer.
Yeah, that's true. It didn't hurt anything. It stayed on the glass. But anyway. All right. Well, good luck to your Lions tomorrow.
Why would you even waste words like that? Why?
Words are cheap.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, I once Michigan got embarrassed in the college football playoff by Georgia. I was like, all right, well, football's done for me until the end of August. So let's just move on with life, So, yeah, I mean,
you don't even want to root along with me.
No, dude, the Packers are gross. It's just, I can't.
Why? Okay.
Why would I root for a team I don't like and have never liked?
Why do you not like them?
Because they're always better than us. And they not only have they been to a Super Bowl, which the Lions have never been to, in the existence of the Super Bowl, the Detroit Lions have never participated.
Yeah, okay.
So you guys have many times, have won multiple times, and Aaron Rodgers has thrown multiple game-winning touchdowns in obscene scenarios. That Hail Mary he threw like 8 years ago or whatever it was, as I've told you this before, as soon as he left his hand, I got up and walked out of the room because I was like, all right, they win. Like, I literally walked out of the room and didn't even watch the end of the game because it's like, all right, we're done. It's like a 70-yard Hail Mary in the air, and you guys, it was like, I can't do it. I just can't, Mitch.
I can't root for a team that wins. Dang it.
No, not well. It's not just that. So the other thing too is like my high school
cracks me up.
My high school colors were Packers colors.
Yeah,
which was irony. It would have been worse if we were Bears colors. But so yeah, I have this green and gold Letterman's jacket buried somewhere, and every time I see it, I'm like, oh, Packers, gross. I just can't. It's just like a impulse. No, I like watching good teams play. Like Aaron Rodgers is incredible. He's had an amazing career. Mm-hmm. Questionable choices here and there, but very good quarterback. They've had a ton of really, like, I still remember Amon Green running all over us when I was young. Like, they've had incredible running backs and linebackers, and Charles Woodson, who will, Michigan Hall of Famer, had an incredible career with the Packers. Partly, he's on other teams as well, but like he had a great run. They won the Super Bowl when he was there. So it's not like I don't appreciate the legacy and how good they are. I just don't want to root for them because I have too many memories of them just dunking on the Lions repeatedly. Same reason I won't root for the Vikings or the Bears. It's just divisional rivals. Like, gross. They're all nasty. I don't like them.
Right on.
But I also generally don't enjoy the NFL as much as I enjoy college football. And so that, again, is and that's what we've had this discussion as well. I prefer college sports more than I prefer pro sports. And that's just, for me, I like it better.
Yeah. And I'll be honest with you. This is probably like you trying to convince me to root for the Bears or the Vikings.
Yeah. Why would you do it? You would never do it.
So I'll tell you, I have a general rule when it comes to playoffs. If the Packers don't make the playoffs, I stick with my division.
See, I don't understand that.
Yeah, because it's still the NFC North.
Right, but I don't like any teams in the NFC North that aren't the Lions.
Even for as much as the Vikings, like the Vikings I have a personal issue with the Vikings. I lived up in the Twin Cities for 6 years, and like I got harassed so bad by the fans up there because I was a Packer fan to the point where like I just wouldn't talk about football ever until like the week after the Packers beat the Vikings. Like that's when I would pull out my Packer shirts and stuff like that, because that was the 1 week I didn't get harassed for being a Packer fan. So basically, and I had somebody call me on that. What, are you trying to rub it in? I was like, no. It's like, this is the one time I don't get yelled at or told that the Packers suck or something like that, because you get yelled just like don't talk about it the week after you lose to us. So I have that a little bit of angst, but I'll tell you something. If the Vikings went to the Super Bowl, I'd root for them, because
they're get to the Super Bowl and the world's about to end. No, so it's just like for me, it's like, we got to root for the Big Ten teams in the bowl games. We got to root for the Big Ten teams in the NCAA tournament. No, I don't. I'm not a Big Ten fan. I'm a Michigan fan. I want Michigan State to get obliterated. I want Wisconsin to lose. I want Minnesota to lose. I want Indiana. I want all of the other teams to lose. I don't like them. And so maybe I'm in the wrong here, because I think by far your view is the majority view. Root for the conference, root for the division, that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
No. If I could watch Ohio State lose every single game, I would watch them lose every single game and enjoy it in a very sadistic way. So maybe I'm the broken one here. Now that just came out of my mouth, like I don't get it. I just and it's Well,
I mean, it comes down to individual preference. I'm not trying to say anything particular about you. It's just, to me, divisional rivalries have a friendliness to them. Like, you guys, give them a hard time.
You think Aaron Rodgers feels that way about the Bears when he tells them that he effing owns them his whole effing career? I effing own you. Yeah, that sounds friendly, because effing doesn't mean friendly. I friendly own you my whole friendly career. I friendly own you.
So yeah, there's that. But I think, as from a fan standpoint, like, I try not to harbor that bitterness against our rivals.
You've met Bears fans, right?
I've met Bears fans. They're not as bad as Vikings fans. I'm just going to tell you that.
That's a sad statement for Vikings fans.
So maybe this comes down to this. You root for a team that's relatively successful, that's done well for a lot of years, and is one of, and maybe it comes down to the fact that like,
I can tell you're really trying not to be pompous about this. I appreciate that.
What it is I'm trying to think to myself, does it almost come off condescending to say we've had success? We usually have a pretty good team. And yeah, if the Vikings were playing tomorrow against the Packers and there was something on the line, dude, I would be rooting against the Vikings all day long. Most of the season, I'm rooting against the Vikings. I'm rooting against the Bears, but it's because it helps the Packers when they lose. And so it's just the competitiveness of that situation. When the Packers are out and can't do anymore, it's like, I don't have the feeling of all right, let's go, guys. You guys really did a good job. You're gonna make it. You're gonna make something. That's not the idea, and I'm afraid that almost comes off that way. That we're like the successful one. That's like, well, if we can't have success, we'll give you an opportunity. It's more of just, I guess maybe it's kind of the being on the top of the mountain. You say, okay, well, since I'm not on the top of the mountain this year, I'm going to choose somebody to root for that I can stand behind for some kind of for a reason, and to me, the reason is that they're from our conference. They're like, I just grew up with this feeling that the teams you root for are the ones that are from your hometown or your home area. It kind of extends into your division. And because when your division has success, everybody has success or whatever. But that's but it brings like, if the Vikings were to win the Super Bowl, it brings that to our division, and so now we have our, and it would be hard for me too, because Packers suck, it's, good job, guys. You guys had a great year last year. Ain't going to happen this year, but that's just the, like, kind of the feeling that I have about that. And does it bother me if the Vikings were to end up in the playoffs and not the Packers? Certainly would bother me. but I feel like I'm really trying not to sound condescending, but I think it's the right thing to do in my opinion. But I'm not going to say that you're a bad person.
But
you have a different opinion than I do. So I'll just leave it at that.
Fair enough. Also, today's Michigan State basketball game got canceled because Michigan players have too much COVID. So that saved us an embarrassment.
So what happened with Michigan football?
We destroyed Ohio State, and then we beat Iowa 42-3 in the Big Ten championship game, and we were riding high, looking good, whooping up on good teams, feeling great. Ranked number 2 in the college football playoff. Pulled Georgia in the first semifinal, or the second semifinal, but our first. We were the first ever team to start the season unranked and make the college football playoff. Never happened before. And turns out Georgia's as good as everyone thought they were. They're an NFL team, and they beat us 34-11. And it wasn't even that close. I turned the game off in the third quarter because I was so mad. Our head coach voted coach of the year. Our offensive coordinator, Broyles Award winner for the best associate or assistant coach in the country. Our offensive line, best offensive line in the country, won the award. Guess what our offensive line couldn't do against Georgia? Anything. They could not block a 4-year-old child in that game. It was embarrassing. They got handled. Our 2 top 5, top 10 NFL draft picks, our 2 defensive ends that are ranked number 1 and number 3 in that category, not a single sack that I saw. Again, I turned it off. Not even barely a quarterback pressure. It was a thorough and comprehensive butt kicking.
Right on.
And now we're stuck with Alabama versus Georgia in the national. Ew. Maybe it already happened. I don't even know. Maybe it's tonight or tomorrow. I don't care. I'm not watching.
I don't know.
Sock-draw to organize. More important. But hey, 12 wins, and we won our first Big Ten title in forever. And we made the football playoff, and we beat Ohio State. So overall,
hey, you got nothing to be ashamed of.
No, great season. Incredible season. We just ended it very badly. But if you're going to go out, why not get blown out, right? That's a good way to do it.
I'm going to assume you didn't watch the Packers-Vikings game last week.
No.
Okay.
I've watched 5 minutes of NFL this season.
You're explaining how Michigan couldn't do anything against Georgia. That's really what the Packers-Vikings game looked like last week. Those Vikings, I felt sorry for them after a while. So it's man, you guys look terrible. I mean, they pulled it together a little bit in the second half, but it wasn't even that the Packers were whooping them up. It was that they were beating themselves. It was almost kind of embarrassing. But
that's not fun when that happens.
No, I always hate feeling bad for the opposing team.
You shouldn't feel bad. They're all making $1 bajillion. Well, most of them.
Well, I like a good competitive game, and when you're looking at them going, "Oh man, you guys just can't get it together today." It's everybody knows they're a better team than that. They're not a bad team, but man, the way they were playing last week, it just I felt a little sorry for them because man, you should totally be in this game more than you are, and yeah, so.
It happens.
But anyway. I'll throw one of those in there for you.
There we go.
Yeah.
Sad trombone for the win.
Yep. Oh, was there something else? So I was talking to the wife this morning, and I was going to throw this at you a little bit. For 2022, I've been thinking about making some minor changes to the podcast. One of those minor changes would be trying to be a little bit more topical and a little bit less tech. We do a lot of tech, and I think we could get away from doing a little. I'm not saying eliminate it. We could still do talk about the events and do stuff like that, but coming up with stuff on the off weeks where we're not concentrating 100% on technology, but maybe a little bit, we could mix in some interesting topics. And I don't have any real good ideas at this point, but I've been listening. I've been varying my podcast listening a little bit recently, and I'm thinking, there's some really interesting topics we could be talking about that, like not news items or anything like that, but just some interesting, like, talking about our opinions about stuff and talking about current things that are going on with us and stuff like that, that could be ripe for an interesting show. So.
Sure.
Yeah. I've been listening to more Merlin. That's been my problem. So,
does that mean one of us has to be slightly on the edge of psychosis at all times?
Well, we can certainly do this without that. But,
I mean, have you really thought about sporks? Like what they're really about?
It's not that bad. But I've been listening to a little bit more Reconcilable Differences lately. And how they can get a 2-hour show out of some of the stuff that they talk about is just crazy to me. But I will never not enjoy hearing John Siracusa talk about these like totally little trivial things that he cares about, that are just like his, and the journey. I think we listened to like almost an hour and a half of him explaining how he thought his freezer was broken, and then he bought a new freezer, and then he found out that the old freezer miraculously fixed itself, and I ate every bit of that up. It was such an interesting conversation, and I've heard the story before, so it was good. It was a fun show to listen to. I was really looking forward. He'd teased that they were going to talk about his picking out a Christmas tree this year, but apparently that didn't go the way that they intended or they thought it was going to go. So
I can't even imagine.
But I was so looking forward to that Christmas tree.
It would take him 3 days.
We like in our household we like good neuroses. People being a little bit neurotic.
Yeah, fair enough.
So it's good. Well, cool. We should wrap up this show. We've been going for a while. So, all right. Well, we will be back here in a couple of weeks, unless something pops up. But I don't know of anything that's going to pop up. What would that be? Today's the 8th, so add 14.
Winter solstice. No, that was December. Yeah, no, we're good.
No, we should be good.
I don't have to do any pagan, sacrifices. So
I would hope not. So. Anyway, so we'll be back in a couple of weeks, and if you would like to know more about us and get our back catalog of shows, check us out at innerdialogue.show. You can also hit me up. I've got my website at mitchcraig.online. You can find all my socials there, and I haven't posted a whole lot up there recently, but you can at least get connected to some of my stuff there as well. Cam, where can people find you?
CamBrennan.com.
All right. It's just that simple. Mitch Craig Online and CamBrennan.com.
Yep.
So, and if I had $350, I'd be at MitchCraig.sucks. But I do not have $350 a year to pay for that domain. So
that's so good.
That was hilarious. That's from a few episodes back. If y'all are just joining us. So
that sucks.
That sucks. So, all right, man. Have a good week.
You too.
Good luck with your new job.
Thanks.